Imagine looking up at the night sky and realizing that the faint point of light racing across the void is not just a comet, not just another icy wanderer from the depths of interstellar space, but a machine. A machine so far beyond human technology that we cannot even comprehend its design. A ship forged by an advanced alien civilization with intentions that may be anything but peaceful. That is the terrifying possibility scientists whisper about when they consider 3I Atlas, the third interstellar object ever detected passing through our solar system. At first glance, 3I Atlas looks harmless, glows faintly, shedding a tail of dust and gas, just like a comet. But let us suppose for a moment that all of this is only camouflage. What if the coma is not sublimating ice, but an engineered shield, millions of particles deliberately released to protect the craft from micrometeoroid impacts as it travels at impossible speeds? What if that glow conceals weapons, sensors, or even probes waiting to be deployed? Suddenly, 3I Atlas stops being a curiosity of astronomy and becomes the greatest existential threat humanity has ever faced. Now consider the numbers. This object is traveling at nearly 60 kilometers per second relative to the Sun. That's over 210,000 kilometers per hour. Faster than anything humanity has ever built. At that speed, even a fragment the size of a house could strike the Earth. With the force of millions of nuclear bombs, the full body of 3I Atlas, possibly several kilometers in diameter, would be a planet killer. An impact event would release energy far beyond the Chicxulub asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. Entire continents could ignite, oceans could boil. Humanity would not merely suffer, it would end. But what if the aliens behind this vessel don't want to smash it into Earth directly, or more insidious ways to destroy a civilization? Imagine 3I Atlas taking up orbit around our planet like a silent sentinel, broadcasting electromagnetic pulses to fry our satellites, blind our telescopes, and collapse our communication networks. Within hours, the internet would vanish, planes would fall from the sky, and power grids would die. Chaos would spread faster than any missile, faster than any virus. Society, so utterly dependent on fragile technology, would collapse into panic. And that's only the beginning. A civilization capable of sending a vessel across interstellar space would wield weapons beyond our imagination. Perhaps they could redirect small asteroids, turning our own solar system into ammunition. Imagine chunks of rock falling like artillery, raining down with surgical precision on cities, bases, or nuclear plants. Humanity would be powerless to defend itself. The sky itself would become our enemy. Or perhaps the aliens would choose biological warfare. A microscopic pathogen engineered to thrive in Earth's atmosphere could be hidden within 3I Atlas, waiting to be released. To us, it would appear as cometary dust settling across the planet. But in reality, it could be a silent plague, spreading invisibly, tearing through immune systems, erasing billions of lives before we even understood the source. Unlike a nuclear blast, this kind of attack wouldn't leave craters, it would leave empty cities, silent streets, and an Earth ruled by ghosts. Worse still, there is the psychological factor. Even if 3I Atlas never fired a single shot, its very presence could tear humanity apart. Rumors, conspiracy theories, and doomsday predictions would flood social media. Governments would struggle to maintain order. Economies would collapse as fear paralyzed trade and travel. Wars could break out not against the aliens, but between human nations blaming each other for hiding secrets or collaborating with the enemy. The aliens would not need to attack, would only need to watch as humanity devoured itself in terror. And what if 3I Atlas is not alone? What if it is merely the vanguard, a scout sent ahead to prepare the way for something larger? History teaches us that reconnaissance always comes before invasion. When European ships first reached the shores of the New World, they came not only to explore, but to conquer. A single alien probe could map our defenses, measure our responses, and transmit our weaknesses back to its creators across the galaxy. By the time we realized what was happening, the true fleet might already be on its way. Picture that for a moment. Fleets of vessels darkening the skies, each one larger than our greatest aircraft carriers, descending with weapons that bend the laws of physics. Our fighter jets, missiles, and tanks would be as primitive against them as stone spears are against modern rifles. The balance of power would not be measured in armies or nukes, but in centuries or perhaps millennia of technological advancement. Humanity would stand at the threshold of extinction, helpless, irrelevant, erased in an instant from the cosmic stage, and there's one final fear that surpasses all others. What if they do not even notice us? What if Earth is not their target at all? 3IATLAS is on a mission beyond our comprehension, harvesting energy, collecting data, or searching for resources. Then humanity might be caught in the crossfire without a second thought. To such beings, we might be no more significant than ants crushed underfoot. They would not need to hate us to destroy us. They would only need to ignore us, so as 3I Atlas streaks toward the inner solar system, a chilling question hangs in the air. Is this truly just a comet, or is it the spearhead of an alien civilization? Cold and calculating, arriving not to greet us but to erase us. If it is the latter, then humanity's story may be nearing its final chapter, and all we can do is watch. Asterisk, when humanity is faced with a threat, be it a rogue asteroid, a hostile nation, or a deadly pandemic, our instinct is to fight back. We imagine brilliant scientists, brave astronauts, powerful militaries uniting under a single banner to save the Earth. Hollywood has told us this story countless times: a last-minute nuclear strike, a heroic sacrifice, a miracle breakthrough. But if 3I Atlas is not a comet, but an advanced alien vessel, then the reality is far darker. Every response we can imagine, every weapon we have built, every defense system we rely on, all of it collapses into dust the moment we confront the scale of the challenge, the nuclear option. Humanity's favorite fantasy, the first idea most people leap to, is nuclear weapons. Humanity possesses over 12,000 nuclear warheads, each capable of releasing apocalyptic energy. Surely, if anything could shatter a cosmic intruder, it would be the combined nuclear arsenal of the world. But reality crushes that hope almost immediately. To even reach 3IATLAS, a missile would have to be launched into deep space, accelerated to tens of thousands of kilometers per hour, and precisely intercept an object traveling at 60 kilometers per second, far faster than any missile has ever flown. The International Space Station orbits Earth at just 7.6 kilometers per second. Our fastest interplanetary probes, like Voyager or New Horizons, top out around 16 kilometers per second. 3IATLAS is nearly 4 times that speed. Hitting it with a nuclear warhead would be like throwing a spear at a bullet hand hoping for a direct hit, even if, by some miracle, we manage to detonate a nuclear warhead near 3I Atlas. What then? Against a natural comet, the blast might nudge its trajectory or break it into fragments. But against a deliberately engineered craft, designed to withstand the rigors of interstellar travel, the explosion might do nothing at all. The vessel could be armored with materials stronger than anything on Earth, resistant to radiation, heat, and shock waves. Our most powerful weapon would register as little more than a spark against the Hall of Gods. And let us not forget nuclear. Warheads cannot simply be launched into space at will. International treaties, safety concerns, and technological limitations prevent it. Rockets capable of carrying nukes to low Earth orbit are few, untested, and politically explosive. By the time world leaders even debated the possibility, 3-1, Atlas would already be gone or worse, already upon us. Kinetic impact, throwing rocks at the gods. Another favorite idea is the so-called kinetic impactor. Instead of nukes, we launch massive projectiles into space, slamming them into the incoming object to either destroy it or deflect it. This method was actually tested in NASA's DART mission, which successfully nudged the asteroid Dimorphos by crashing a spacecraft into it at high speed. But Dimorphos was moving at 24,000 kilometers per hour. 3I Atlas moves nearly 10 times faster. The energy required to meaningfully alter its trajectory would be astronomical. Worse, if 3IATLAS is not a natural rock but a technological vessel, could actively adjust its course, counteract the impact, or simply shrug off the collision. Against an intelligent adversary, cosmic slingshot becomes nothing more than a child throwing pebbles at a tank. Lasers. Particle beams and space weapons science fiction often imagines humanity firing giant lasers or particle beams into the heavens, slicing through alien craft with focused energy. The truth? We are centuries away from building anything remotely capable of such feats. Current experimental laser. Defense systems on Earth can barely disable drones at a few kilometers distance. To reach an object tens of millions of kilometers away, traveling at impossible speed with enough power to damage it would require a power grid the size of a continent. Even if such a weapon existed, 3I Atlas could deploy simple countermeasures: rotating surfaces, reflective coatings, electromagnetic shielding that would render our beams useless. Particle accelerators, railguns, directed energy weapons exist only on paper. Against 3I Atlas, they are science fiction dreams pretending to be science fact. Perhaps some might argue we could send a crewed mission. Brave astronauts piloting a desperate intercept craft, meeting 3I Atlas in the void. Humanity's champions ready to make the ultimate sacrifice. But again, the numbers destroy the fantasy. To catch up with 3IASs, a ship would need to accelerate to over 200,000 kilometers per hour and sustain that speed for months. No human-rated spacecraft has ever come close. Our most advanced rockets, Falcon Heavy SLS, Long March 5, barely reach orbit. With crew, they are magnificent achievements. But they are candles compared to the roaring furnaces required for interstellar pursuit. Even robotic probes cannot be launched quickly enough. Designing, building, and launching an intercept mission would take years. By the time the spacecraft left Earth, 3I Atlas would already be vanishing into the darkness, untouchable forever. In recent years, the idea of a space force has captured the public imagination. Militaries around the world have announced plans to secure the high frontier, protect satellites, and prepare for extraterrestrial threats. But the reality of these forces is far from the grandiose promises. Space Force today is little more than a bureaucratic reshuffle. It's managing satellites and communications. No secret fleets of battleships orbit Earth. No armadas of nuclear starships stand ready. If 3I Atlas revealed itself to be hostile tomorrow, the combined might of the world's militaries would be powerless. The brutal truth: we are not ready. Every plan collapses under the weight of reality. Nukes cannot reach. Kinetic impactors lack power. Lasers are fantasy. Crewed intercept missions are impossible. Military posturing is irrelevant. And all of this assumes that 3I Atlas is a natural object. If it is truly an alien ship, then every countermeasure humanity can imagine fails before it even begins. An advanced civilization would have already solved problems we are just beginning to understand. Energy, generation, propulsion, shielding, self-repair, artificial intelligence. They could dodge our attacks, disable our weapons, or strike us before we ever knew what hit us. We are ants plotting to stop a boot. The most terrifying conclusion of all is this: there's nothing we can do. If 3I Atlas is hostile, then our fate is sealed. Humanity stands naked in the cosmic storm, armed with sticks and stones, staring up at a thunderbolt hurled by gods. Asterisk: if nuclear weapons and intercept missions are useless against 3I Atlas, then perhaps our greatest terror is not the vessel itself, but what it represents. For in the silence of the cosmos, there's a theory whispered among scientists and philosophers alike, a theory so chilling, so merciless, that once you understand it, you cannot look at the stars the same way again. It is called the dark forest theory. Imagine the galaxy not as a playground of stars and planets, but as a vast, endless forest. Each civilization is like a solitary hunter, moving silently among the trees. They do not know who else is out there. They do not know whether the others are friendly or hostile. All they know is this: any sound you make might give you away. In this forest, the rules are simple: survival above all. If you reveal your location, if you light a fire or make a noise, you may attract something more powerful than yourself. And if that happens, you are not greeted with kindness, you are eliminated. This is the brutal logic of the dark forest.
Oh, nice.
Every civilization must assume that others are dangerous. Every civilization must hide because the cost of being wrong is extinction. Now, place humanity in this forest. For over a century, we have been broadcasting signals into the void, radio transmissions, television shows, military radar. We have announced our existence to the universe with abandon, like children shouting in the darkness, unaware of the predators lurking in the shadows. What if 3i Atlas is the answer to our cries? What if our television signals leaking into the cosmos for decades have been received and decoded? What if our attempt to say hello has instead marked us as prey in the dark forest? Ignorance is safety. Knowledge is death. But we have already given ourselves away. Some might ask, why would an advanced civilization want to destroy us? Why not simply ignore us? Why not allow us to grow in peace? The answer lies in cold mathematics. Any civilization that survives long enough to build interstellar craft must think in terms of millennia, not decades. For them, humanity is not a curiosity, it is a potential rival. Perhaps not today, perhaps not tomorrow. But give us 1,000 years, and we too may roam the stars. If you are an advanced civilization, why take the risk? Why allow another species to develop technologies that could one day threaten you? The rational choice, the safe choice, is to eliminate them while they are weak. Strike before they strike you. Silence the noise before it becomes a weapon. This is not malice. This is not cruelty. It is survival. In the dark forest, mercy is suicide. The terrifying part is that this logic is not alien at all. It's human. History is filled with examples of advanced civilizations encountering weaker ones, and the weaker rarely survive. When Europeans first crossed the oceans, they brought ships, steel, and guns. The civilizations they encountered, Aztec, Inca, countless indigenous tribes, were not less intelligent, but they lacked the tools of industrial war. Within centuries, most were annihilated, not because they were evil, but because expansion demanded it, and fear of rivals demanded preemptive conquest. If this is how humans treat each other, why would aliens act differently? Why would a species millions of years older than us, with weapons beyond imagination, hesitate for even a second? Asterisk now return to 3i Atlas. Imagine it not as a comet, but as a hunter moving silently through the forest of stars. Its path aligns almost perfectly with the orbits of our planets. Its speed is deliberate, its glow is mysterious. Could this be coincidence? Or is it the quiet footfall of a predator approaching slowly, calculating, waiting for the right moment to strike? If the dark forest theory is correct, then 3i Atlas is not simply a rock, it is a gun aimed at Earth. It is a reminder that in the cosmos, silence is safety and noise is death. And humanity has been shouting for a century. The late physicist Stephen Hawking understood this danger. He warned repeatedly that humanity should be cautious about seeking contact with extraterrestrials. If aliens ever visit us, he once said, the outcome would be much as when Columbus landed in America, which didn't turn out well for the Native Americans. His words echo the dark forest logic: do not reveal yourself because the risk is annihilation. Yet we did not listen. CETA continues to search, messages continue to be sent, and now an interstellar object streaks toward us. If 3i Atlas is an alien vessel, and if it carries even a fraction of the logic of the dark forest, then its purpose may already be decided. It does not need to speak. It does not need to negotiate. Its mission could be simple: observe, evaluate, eliminate. And here lies the true horror. In the dark forest, humanity does not even get a chance to plead its case. There are no warning shots, no ultimatums, no negotiations. There is only silence, followed by extermination. The silence of the night before the rifle fires. The more we learn about the cosmos, the more fragile our illusion of safety becomes. For years, we believed ourselves secure on our small blue planet, shielded by distance and darkness. Now, interstellar objects arrive in our solar system. Comets that should not exist, blaze through our skies. And in every anomaly, we see the outline of the dark forest. Perhaps 3IA tell us is natural, perhaps it is not, but the mere possibility forces us to confront a truth we have long ignored. The universe may not be friendly, may not even be neutral, may be a killing ground. In the dark forest, every civilization is a hunter with its finger on the trigger. And tonight, as telescopes track the faint glow of 3I Atlas across the heavens, we cannot escape the dreadful thought. Maybe the hunter has already found us. For the past 3 chapters, we have stared into the abyss. We have imagined 3I Atlas, not as a comet, but as a hunter, a probe, perhaps even the spearhead of an advanced civilization. We have watched humanity's weapons bounce harmlessly off the void. We have wandered through the dark forest, where survival means silence, and exposure means death. But science is not built on fear. Science is built on observation, data, and analysis. And in the past months, telescopes around the world and beyond have been gathering data on this strange interstellar traveler. The results, though not conclusive, paint a picture that is, at least for now, more reassuring than terrifying. First, let us talk about the glow. Early reports described a strange forward-facing halo surrounding 3I Atlas. To some, it looked like a force field, an energy screen protecting the vessel from cosmic debris. But recent high-resolution images from the Hubble Space Telescope and the James Webb Space Telescope suggest something less exotic. The halo appears to be a coma cloud of dust and gas venting. From the object's surface, as it warms under the sun, this is standard comet behavior. Ice trapped for billions of years sublimates into vapor, dragging dust along with it, creating a glowing veil. Yes, the orientation of the glow is odd. Some reports indicate dust streaming forward, not backward. But scientists have explanations for that too. Large dust particles, less affected by solar radiation, can appear to drift in unusual directions. The universe, after all, is messy. Next comes the chemical analysis. The James Webb Space Telescope, with its powerful infrared eyes, has dissected the light from 3I ATLAs into a spectral fingerprint. What did it find? Traces of water ice, carbon, monoxide, complex organic molecules. In other words, the building blocks of comets as we know them. The ratios are not identical to comets in our solar system. This makes sense, since 3I Atlas was born under an alien star, but the chemistry is natural, not technological. There are no spectral lines suggesting metal alloys, no radioactive signatures, no signs of artificial propulsion. If this is a spaceship, it is disguised so perfectly that it behaves chemically like a comet. Then there is the question of the orbit. Much has been made about the suspicious trajectory of 3I Atlas, aligned with the ecliptic plane. It's passing near Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. But when astronomers ran simulations of interstellar objects, they found that detection bias plays a role. Our telescopes are best at spotting things that pass through the inner solar system near the ecliptic, because that is where we look the most. Interstellar wanderers passing at steeper angles, far from the planets, often go unnoticed, so the odds, though small, are not zero. Sometimes coincidence is just coincidence. What about its size? Early estimates suggested a nucleus as large as 20 kilometers wide, colossal, enough to rival the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. Such a monster arriving from the stars sounds like the perfect doomsday craft. But the more we observe, the smaller it gets. Some analyses suggest a core only a few kilometers across, maybe even as small as 500 meters. The brightness we see may be inflated by its active coma, not the solid body itself. A half-cometer rock is still dangerous if it collides with Earth. Yes, but it is not an alien dreadnought. Of course, there are still dissenting voices. Avi Loeb of Harvard continues to argue that anomalies in the data cannot be brushed aside. He points out inconsistencies in the water detection claims, its unusual alignment of the trajectory, and the possibility of artificial origins. But most astronomers push back. They argue that Loeb's interpretations are not supported by robust statistics, that natural explanations remain more likely. Extraordinary claims, they remind us, require extraordinary evidence. And so far, extraordinary evidence has not appeared. We must remember that this is not our first interstellar visitor. In 2017, we saw Oumuamua, the cigar-shaped enigma that baffled astronomers with its strange acceleration and lack of a tail. Many thought it might be alien. Most now lean toward exotic natural explanations, perhaps a fragment of hydrogen ice, or a nitrogen shard from a distant Pluto-like world. In 2019, we observed 2I Borisov, which behaved like a normal comet. Dust, gas tail, everything expected. Now comes 3I ATLAS. And once again, anomalies emerge. But science thrives on anomalies. With each visitor, we refine our understanding of what interstellar debris looks like. With each anomaly, we expand the boundaries of normal. Maybe the universe is stranger than we thought, but strangeness does not always mean intelligence. And so, for all the fear, for all the speculation, the current evidence tilts toward reassurance. 31ATLAS looks more like a natural comet than an alien craft. It behaves more like a piece of ice and rock than a weapon of war. Is that certain? No. In science, nothing is ever certain. But as of now, the balance of probability lies with nature, not technology. Here lies the paradox. Fear captures the imagination. Alien mothership spreads faster than cold carbon monoxide. Theories of doomsday attract millions of views, while charts of sublimation rates sit unread. But the truth, at least for now, is less terrifying. And maybe that is a good thing, because if the dark forest is real, then silence is safety. And if 3I Atlas is just a comet, then we are safe, at least for now. Conclusion: the eye of the storm ass. 3I Ass races past the sun and swings back into 2. The void, we will continue to watch. We will point our telescopes, measure its light, and parse its spectra. And when it is gone, we will debate. Was it natural? Was it artificial? Or was it something in between, something we cannot yet imagine? But tonight, the data is on our side. Tonight, the hunter fades into the background, and the shadows of the forest feel a little less threatening. Perhaps, just perhaps, this time we are safe. Asterisk when the dust settles. When the telescopes fall silent. When 3IATLAS slips back into the eternal night between the stars, what will remain? Not the fear, not the rumors, not the shouting headlines. What remains is the reminder of who we are, how fragile we are. For all our rockets, our weapons, our machines, we are still a young species. Civilization barely able to step off its home world. We live on a thin film of atmosphere wrapped around a tiny rock, orbiting an ordinary star in an ordinary arm of an ordinary galaxy. We are small, and yet we dream big. Asterisk 3I Atlas, whether a comet or a craft, has reminded us of our place in the universe. It shows us how easily we are humbled by something as simple as a passing rock. It reveals how quickly our imagination leaps from data, points to doomsday. It highlights the gap between what we fear and what we know. And perhaps that gap is the most important lesson. We are not as powerful as we think we are. We are not invincible. But neither are we powerless. Asterisk every second we spend fearing alien armadas is a second we do not spend appreciating the miracle of being alive. Whether 3I Atlas is a messenger of doom or simply a frozen relic, it has already delivered its gift. Perspective, it tells us to look around, to see the sunrise, to hear the laughter of children, to feel the warmth of another human being's hand. Life is fleeting, fragile, and uncertain. And that is why it is precious. If tomorrow brings destruction from the stars, then today matters. Even more, if tomorrow brings safety, then today is still worth cherishing. Asterisk, there is another gift hidden in this moment, the chance for humanity to come together. For once, the headlines were not about nations fighting nations. They were about all of us, together, staring at the same object in the sky. No one asked whether 3i Atlas was Chinese, American, Russian, or European. It was not theirs or ours. It was something beyond, something shared. Imagine if we could carry that unity into our daily lives. Imagine if instead of wasting our resources on endless wars, we poured them into protecting our planet, into exploring the stars, to building a future where we are ready not just for comets, but for cooperation. Because if an advanced civilization ever truly comes, it will not matter whether we are divided into countries. It will only matter whether we stand as one species. Asterisk right now, our biggest threats do not come from alien civilizations. They come from ourselves, from the bombs we build, from the wars we wage, from the hatred we feed. We fear that 3i Atlas could obliterate our cities, but every day, wars already obliterate lives. We worry that aliens might enslave us, but millions already live under oppression. We imagine that an interstellar probe could harvest our planet, but we ourselves are stripping Earth bare, burning forests, poisoning oceans, choking skies. Perhaps the real alien invader's not out there. Perhaps it is within us, and perhaps the real hope is also within us. If we can learn from 3i Atlas, if we can see beyond fear, then maybe we can turn our gaze inward and choose peace, choose cooperation, choose a future worth defending. Asterisk in the end, the cosmos is vast. It will outlive us. Stars are born and die. Galaxies collide. Black holes swallow light. Against that backdrop, we are a flicker, a whisper, brief moment of consciousness in a universe that has been silent for billions of years. Does that make us insignificant? Or does it make us miraculous? Perhaps both. We are small, yes, but we are also rare. Out of all the particles in all the galaxies, a few came together to form you. Here now, thinking these thoughts, hearing these words, asterisk that is not nothing, it is everything. So as 3i Atlas fades, let it not leave fear in its wake, let it leave wisdom. Let it remind us to treasure what we have, to love more deeply, to fight less violently, to explore more boldly, to cooperate more fully. Whether it was a comet, a ship, or a mystery beyond imagination. 3i Atlas has already changed us by forcing us to confront ourselves, and maybe that was the real mission all along. Asterisk, if you are still here, listening, reflecting, then take this moment with you. Step outside, look at the sky. Remember that you are part of something vast, ancient, and beautiful. Remember that life is fragile. Remember that time is short. Cherish it. Cherish the people around you. Cherish every breath, because whether doom comes tomorrow or safety lasts for centuries, the truth remains. All we ever have is this moment. Asterisk, this is not just about comets. It is not just about aliens. It is about us. And if you want to keep exploring these mysteries with me, you want to keep asking the hard questions, confronting the dark possibilities, and finding meaning in the stars, then join me here on this channel. Together, let's keep our eyes on the cosmos and our hearts. On Earth, thank you for watching. This is Nebula Vale. Until next time, stay curious, stay humble, and never stop looking up.